All right. Hey, hey. Welcome back, guys. All right. Um, we have the card of water, emotion, element, winter. Water signs are deep, caring, and empathetic. As fluids suit their every container, they change to suit every situation and relationship that they feel is most important to them. They desire harmony, intimacy, and understanding. So, obviously, we are beginning with possibly a strong water element. Now, of course, it all depends on where that placement is. We all have so many different placements. Obviously, it doesn't have to be referring to just a water sun sign, right? This could be wherever the water is in someone's chart. Um, that particularly might be worthy of looking up in a natal birth chart, like where is my water? Is it in my Venus? Is it in Neptune? Is it in, where might that be? That could help a character better understand what component of themselves they're most adaptable in, or where they are strongest in using their emotions. So just kind of an interesting side note to start with. We have a Two of Swords. It's interesting, again, because this Two of Swords would normally be about blockage, but this is somebody who is such a fantastic archer. Doesn't matter if she is blindfolded, she's still going to hit that mark. This says, operate from the heart space more so than the eyes. It's time to rely on different senses. If our character is saying, no, I don't know how to, trust something if I can't see it with my own eyes, but I kind of think that there is this almost like leap of faith. We could have a feminine, possibly somebody with red hair, somebody who could have like some interesting, either like multiple rings on her fingers, but also could wear an arm cuff, or sometimes I'm picturing like one of the almost more like, not a, it could be a tattoo, but I picture it more like henna, or like even like gold, like body art. This feels very much like somebody who's like going to a festival or something, but she's got kind of like some jewels above her eyebrows as well. But I'm thinking of this more like an individual who's got a certain amount of like energy that they emit specifically from around the brow. So like third eye, but also something is very highlighted about that entire like brow area. I don't know, maybe this person has really lovely eyebrows or something like that, or they are, an esthetician or something, but I feel like it's more focused on the fact that she can absorb information through that third eye. She doesn't really need her eyes at all. Being silent and listening more to what's going on seems to be excellent for her. It helps her figure out, how to focus when she's not looking at something, but instead learning how to turn inward and listen to her emotions. This is somebody whose emotions are not a hindrance. They're one of our character's like best attributes. So we could be talking about an empath. We could be somebody dealing with somebody who's better at hearing somebody's true intentions if they don't look at the person's face, if they just listen to the pitch of somebody's voice, and they might get a lot more out of what that person was really meaning or what they were really saying. We have the World. This could also be someone who is better at understanding what they really feel about something. Here's what I think. I think we have a character who absorbs a ton of information. And in order to classify the information, say, why am I feeling a certain way about something? Okay, let me tune out, like, what did it look like when somebody was saying something? Let me tune out, what were the potential motives, and then let me say, what was the energy they were projecting at me? They were projecting a sense of need. Was their need to manipulate me, or was their need like they were lonely, they were hungry, they were thirsty, they were scared, and they wanted me to make them feel safe? Or did they want me to provide them with some kind of substance, some kind of sustenance or assistance? It feels like that's the way our character has to pause and go, wait a second, I absorb everything, but let me sift through and put my finger on exactly what it was that the real motive was that somebody was projecting at me. What did they really want from me? And I think we have a character who's pretty brilliant at doing this, but I do think it's exhausting. So we may be dealing with like an absolute empath here who soaks up everything in the environment, every little detail, every crumb of information, and then they have to be able to work with it. The great thing is with the World card, we have her saying, hey, I'm going to look at this as a benefit, not as a detriment. Okay, so I feel a lot. I absorb the world around me. But that's a lot of data. And that data, if I use it, wisely, I can actually I can work with it. I can function with this. I can understand that this is my brilliant mind and my brilliant intuition hard at work trying to help me follow the right paths. And I can sidestep people that I think are insincere, disingenuous, because I've absorbed all the energy that came at me. I'm realizing I can tell who I can trust and who I can't. So let me use this now. Yes, it can be a little fatiguing to absorb all the energy, but there's so much great knowledge for me to be absorbing as well. And if I look at it as this will help me to make decisions more swiftly about, I want to stay away from that person. I want to go toward that person. They seem sincere. They don't. I think this could be not something that feels so draining anymore. I think that's what we may have a feminine. It doesn't have to be. I read for genders in my stories, not for, or excuse me, for energy and not for genders. But we do have a strong feminine energy so far. So definitely somebody who's like the gravitational pull and the one who absorbs information. But we've got that Knight of Pentacles sideways. I definitely feel as if there is someone that she's trying to figure out. There is somebody on a quest, and now he could be, she's trying to figure out, is he on a quest for me? Does he want my heart? Does he want to have me adventure with him in his life? Or does he, have this intention? Is he a treasure hunter? Is he only around me for what he could get from me? I can see that she's like saying, I sense he's hunting for something. And I sense he has intentions for, like, this is not somebody who has absolutely no motive. He's on a treasure hunt. But again, we all are, right? Our whole life is a treasure hunt to find great happiness. That doesn't mean that we're insincere. It doesn't mean that we're just self-serving or that we don't love other people or care about others on the way. But I can see that she's trying to use her newly acquired comfort zone with absorbing other people's energy and, letting her emotions go ahead and feel what she picks up from people and then sifting through that data. And it seems like she is working on trying to understand, what is it that he's seeking? Is he seeking relationship? Is he seeking me? What is his motive? We have the Fool, and we have the Page of Wands in the reverse. You know how refreshing this is. It says she's already made this decision. If I don't like what I sense, I don't have to worry about this. I can say no thank you to anybody. I'm not obligated to just sit around and have to absorb people's energy that want to keep coming into my world. I can walk away at any time. So I have no fear of this now. If, as I'm, like sifting through, I can sense he's on a treasure hunt. I don't know what that means yet. I can only sense that he has a need. There's a reason he's looking my way. There's a reason I can already sense he wants something with me. But I don't know what that means just yet. But I will say this, if I don't like what he's putting out, I don't have to accept it. I don't have to be his little pot of gold at the end of his treasure map. So I'm in power and control here, where I don't have to give myself over to anybody else's energy. I don't have to let their energy keep coming into my world either. I can just get up and exit. I can leave the room. I can say, no, thanks anyway, and move on if I don't like it. It feels like she is like really working with this empathic energy she has and finally like channeling it. Like I said, getting data out of it and then giving herself that reassurance that, hey, I get to pick who comes into my world and who's allowed to dump their energy into my sphere. I can change the energy around me by walking away from somebody if I'm not loving what they're putting out, or if I don't think I like what they want to offer me. This feels really empowered, and it feels like now she can, I'm going to say, deal with the flood of emotions that she picks up from other people, in particular this one, because she's armed with that knowledge that I don't have to let somebody, want pieces of me and they just somehow get to keep bombarding me. Nope, I don't have to let that happen. I can I can exit. So it's really nice. In fact, with the Sun card, she's thrilled. Now she's really happy. She's feeling like, oh my God, this is fantastic. We keep seeing her like with her head up now. We see her body language is changing. We see her feeling empowered. We see her saying, well, this is going to be great. The fact that I'm learning how to like work with my empathic abilities and not get overwhelmed by it. In fact, this is a huge benefit because I'm able to sleuth out maybe true intentions a little bit. I can shed light on what somebody is doing, and I can also shed light on what it is that I want, what makes me happy and what does not. Okay, so let's go back over to him then. So she's learning how to work with all this. We have a King of Wands. I know this seems like it's somebody that she doesn't know his true intentions yet, but I don't think he's trying to hide anything. I think he's genuinely interested in her. He could like be a fan of like graphic tees. We've got like a lion on his t-shirt dead center here. He could also like really enjoy. I always look at this particular shape of the lion as like very much reggae music. Like I'm hearing like Bob Marley and stuff. But there could be something where he seems kind of laid back but passionate. He seems, I said he has like a treasure map. And he's actually sitting in front of like this huge backdrop of all the continents. And so I'm wondering if he is from a different culture than she is. He could, I don't know why I'm getting like someone who's like, maybe because of this card here, but like Nordic, maybe Netherlands, maybe Holland, I don't know. Belgium, but then has this real love of like all kinds of other international influences. She, by the way, may have taken some kind of like taiko drumming before. She may be someone who's into some pretty interesting, like we've got drumming, we've got archery, we've got her possibly like a very free-spirited, very energetic. Maybe she needs things like that also to like shed her own energy. If she is like an empath who works with energy flow, I could see why she would like archery because it helps her to center her energy to a bullseye. I could see why she would like things like drumming, gongs, because you have to hit in the right place to produce the right sound. It's about directing energy and then letting the sound bounce back. So I definitely see that she's somebody who might naturally gravitate towards certain things that subconsciously have always been to direct pinpoints of energy and then allow it to like bounce back and reverb. That makes sense to me for an empath, that she would like things like that. He is seen here as a bit of a lumberjack too. And if you're swinging an axe to split wood, that is also a direction of energy to then yield a result. So I'm wondering, especially since he sits here as a King of Wands, he may be very connected to forests, trees, lumber. He may do carving, maybe small things, with like a little knife or maybe, chainsaw carvings or something. But I could see him very connected to trees, forests. There's something here about like he's got a very earthy energy as well. But I think he's lived in different places. I think that this map might not be so much a treasure map as it is a list of places he wants to go and see in this world. I feel like he's maybe got a very international mindset. Maybe he wants to go to different places specifically to see different like landscapes. Both of these characters could be quite earthy, and it could be because they're both very, she's empathic and he is quite fiery, right? With that King of Wands. So he's all about heart energy. This is pretty exciting, I have to say. They do come in as like strong, different elements. Ace of Swords, but I feel like they will understand each other so well. I almost think that you remember at the beginning, she was like withholding saying something to him because she was first trying to figure out, sleuth out, do I trust him? I can see that he wants something to do with me. I know he's interested. I don't know what I want to respond with yet. I don't know how I want to handle him. I don't want to get overwhelmed by somebody if I feel like he's just, whatever. He wants something from me. He wants to, whatever, just get me into bed. But I think after this like consideration, I think this is her like letting that arrow fly, and she may wind up asking him something or talking very directly to him. Just, I feel like she's almost like unguarding herself a little bit and saying, I don't have to worry about this, because if he shows me any trait that I don't like, I can bounce. If there's anything I don't like, I don't have to continue to give somebody my time. And I think she seems like somebody who's very sweet. One of the best lessons, I think, for someone who wants to like give everyone valuable time and treat everyone with great respect is also knowing it's okay to shut somebody down as well when you're not interested, because nobody's entitled to your energy. And I feel like she has definitely, as an empath, this is her big lesson, is like, I don't have to give everybody my energy. Let them drain me, let them talk at me if I don't like it. So armed with that new sense of like empowerment, it's going to be easy for her to deal with this person and talk very directly to him. And I think that's what is coming up next. It looks like he has wanted to be around her, and she's been kind of keeping him at bay, and this is her letting him in. Look at that. Remember, he has that lion on his t-shirt, and now we have the lion here. She definitely could have red hair, or she's very fiery, very intelligent. But it's interesting how she's saying, I think I would let him into my world. I think I would allow him to come walking with me, hiking with me. I can see he's hovering around. I can tell he wants something to do with me. I'm just going to point blank ask him, were you waiting to talk to me? Because I get this vibe that you keep coming around every day. I'm picturing somebody who keeps showing up in her world a little bit, but hasn't gotten quite the nerve to ask her out. Maybe he's hinted around it, but she might wind up like just boldly asking him point blank, to either, do you want to sit outside with me? Do you want to sit beside me? Do you want to chit chat? She might actually like open up a doorway for him. He's not fearful exactly. In fact, he's quite bold and he's quite warm, but I think it's been out of respect that he hasn't tried to like push into her world. He knew he had to wait for her invitation. These two look like they could be really, really lovely together. I mean, like really lovely. If he's powerful but respectful, I can see why she needed to allow him in if she felt so inclined. She does now. Maybe because he was patient, maybe because she was able to work on her empathic abilities, and maybe because he's sure, I don't want to overwhelm her. I already know she will show me where her boundaries are, and I'll respect those. It just feels really nice. Like he's going to match her energy. That could be an amazing bond for these two. But this is definitely a masculine who is, she's needed to give him the green light on this storyline. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up. Bye.